Alrighty, what's up, guys? How's everybody doing out there? Welcome to another fine edition of the OSC News and Highlights. This time we're in Spooktober, in the middle of Halloween month here. Ready to have a good time with me, of course. Got Eddie, SC2, and the wonderful Starkiller. How are you guys doing today?
Hey guys, good to be back. It's sort of a bit hard to keep track of the months in 2020. It's October already, eh?
Exactly. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, I saw something earlier about, I guess, John Lennon's birthday, and I was like, wasn't that in September? Is it September? What day is it? What month is it? I don't know, man. I gave up trying to figure that out a long time ago. But we've got StarCraft all the time. That's what's really
That we do.
exciting. Even actually in 2020, it's probably been more StarCraft than we've ever actually had.
Yeah, a lot of it's being forced online now, so it's pretty interesting the new concept of everything.
Yeah, a lot of online stuff. It does make the server things a bit more complicated, but it means the events often stretch out a lot longer than we've seen them before, and I've definitely been enjoying it. There's too much StarCraft to watch, which is a good problem to have.
I think there's like a lot more little cups coming up now too. You have all the big events, but I think there's a lot more smaller tournaments coming up. Even like 2v2 tournaments. There's like a little bit of everything now. It seems much more. It's expanding to a lot of new places.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a few people doing TV2 cups, and Creighton does a lot of like fun random cups and things like that too. So it's not just your main leagues of EPT and OSC, but there's a lot of various StarCraft modes out there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that comes with the territory of the more tournaments we have, the more stuff there is, the more fun you can have with it. You can have those random tournaments and the 2v2, which has never really been that big of a scene in StarCraft. But it's always fun to have tournaments for 2v2s. But, speaking of new, I guess the new way StarCraft is right now, Blizzard has kind of given up some of that control to EPT this year. And it kind of leads into our first topic, which is actually the new game studio that Mike Morhaime is starting up with a number of other Blizzard people. So
yeah, it came as a bit of a shock for those not in the know, because you thought he'd been enjoying his retirement.
Right? He's got a nice retirement all set up, got a nice family, but I think he's probably the kind of person that if he's not working on something, he's not really fully like fulfilled. I know a lot of people like that. And probably just thought there's so much more he still has to give to this community. And a lot of people that recently in the last few years have left Blizzard voluntarily or maybe involuntarily got together, and I'm really excited for it. It's really bare bones right now. A lot of it's conceptual, and they're still looking for a lot of people to get involved. But I feel like I've heard so many people recently in the last couple of years say, if you got together Mike Morhaime, if anybody could make the new RTS, it would be this guy. So it gives me hope for like, in the next few years, StarCraft, maybe it dwindles a little bit and we got to look for something new. This is where I'll be looking, for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, he got a good selection of ex Blizzard people already involved. I had a look at the website; it was very well created, and creating two studios to work independently of each other, and just going to really, I think, encourage a lot of passion and creativity, which might have been held back in other environments. So excited to see what they can do, RTS or otherwise.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels a lot of it like kind of how Blizzard was at the start, you know? I feel like it's like the heart of that concept of we want to make games for people to enjoy. We want to make something that is fun and also artistically solid. And that's what Blizzard I feel like has always meant to a lot of people, which is why recently people have been a little bit less excited about the direction Blizzard's been going. And while a lot of us were thankful that the, I guess, pro scene of StarCraft has kind of been taken out of Blizzard's hands. So I'm really looking forward to it, definitely.
Yes, Mia Micah asks in the Twitch chat about them buying StarCraft 2 or the rights to StarCraft. I can't see that happening though. Blizzard
Yeah, I think it's
would not let go of that.
probably unlikely that they'd ever be able to do that exactly, but maybe we'll see some sort of
Like,
like a
I was
StarCraft.
just think,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say they could make like a StarCraft 3 then, you know,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
go right at it, start it up.
I mean, StarCraft's already basically Warhammer, right? It's Warhammer 40K.
Just let
So,
me pitch you an idea.
all right.
Spacecraft. It could really take off.
Oh, you're really thinking, man. I think that's a good one.
Okay, well, they could use ships instead of units, you know, have it all in space instead.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm going to play whatever they come out with. And it's probably going to be 4 or 5 years before they come out with something, but I'll be right at the front of that just because it feels like something fresh. We don't get that a whole lot in games these days.
That is true. It's a lot of like new Call of Duty release, new Battlefield. It's recycling the same sort of concept.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that's why Battle Royales took off, is that was kind of a new idea. Were some things kind of like that, but people latch on to something new. And after a while, it starts to get stale. You can try to change it and reform it, but they want something new. And yeah, I think whatever comes out of the studio will be the new thing.
Eagerly await.
For sure. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But not much to announce other than that it exists. So I guess we'll move on to our next one here.
Mm-hmm. Announcement of an announcement. Typical Blizzard employees.
Yeah.
Classic. Wow. Our next topic here is TLO saying goodbye to Team Liquid. It's a sad day, but he's not really going too far. He's going to be working with Shopify and in their new esports division, which I'm sure will feature quite a lot of StarCraft, and Team Liquid will undoubtedly be involved with some of that.
Couldn't have picked a better ambassador for esports. He just obviously the experience 10 years on Team Liquid, but he's still got that passion and really good choice.
I'm sure he's still going to play around too, especially like in all the upcoming EPT stuff, the qualifiers next week. I'm sure he'll be there too. So,
well, he's retiring.
You don't stop playing StarCraft.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna stop completely. Like I think he could come, play these qualifiers.
Well, retiring from StarCraft means you still play in every tournament. Because didn't Stefano retire like 6 or 7 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, it's the guys that kind of like go and come. Like even Marine Lord, I'd say, he goes away for a year or two and then he comes back and he qualifies for the EPT right off the bat. So I think a lot of these players come back like that.
Rail retired last year,
Hmm.
and I saw him playing 2 or 3 times this week. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure we'll see lots of TLO, whether it's playing StarCraft or just still involved in the scene. Um,
Plus, I assume he'll still want to keep his stream going in some capacity to connect with that community.
yeah,
So he might, jump on the weekends stream.
Mhm.
That Team Liquid put out a really good video and handled the departure really well, as you'd expect.
yeah, of course. I'm sure this was in
Mhm.
talks for a while. Team Liquid and TLO just in general have both been like pillars of the community for a long time. So to see them part ways is a little sad, but to know that they'll both still be here, really. Like obviously TLO is still going to be around, and Team Liquid is recently, obviously they picked up Clem and Harstem last year, and the TSL5 was this year, so they're actually increasing their investment into StarCraft. I'm certainly excited about that.
Mhm.
But that kind of covers that, so we'll see where that takes TLO. What was our next topic here? Ah, yes, maps. The new
Starkiller, you
maps,
should probably take point on this. You know
right? This is
Yeah,
all
yeah.
better.
you.
Honestly, I like the new maps. I think they're like none of them are like too weird. They're kind of like some of them are like a little bit shorter distance, like Late Shades a little bit. But I think for my style it works out because it's a lot more spread out, open. Some of my maps it's a little bit tougher to take a third base. I'd say Oxide's a little bit tougher. It's a little bit spaced out a tiny bit. Personally, I like the new maps. Um, I'm kind of, some of the maps, the older maps that they got rid of, like Eternal, I always like that one. I think most people like that map, so I think it's sad to see that one go. But overall, the new maps, I kind of like them overall.
Yeah, it feels like we don't have that really weird, crazy one. Like we don't have a golden wall or like a red
Mhm.
shift or something where everybody looks at it and goes, "That's terrible. I hate it." Um, it feels like a few people I think have strong opinions on a few of them, I'm sure, but overall,
Mhm.
the games have been really, really good, and I haven't so far felt that there's a real balance issue on any of them. They're still
Mhm.
really new, so I guess we'll see. But
Will they be played more than the 3 existing maps?
so far, I genuinely have seen, except for Jagannatha, but
Mhm.
definitely Lightshade and Romanticide, I've seen more than any of the other maps this week. I don't know if that's just a small sample size or what, but
Mhm. I think everyone that I've talked to likes Romanticide a lot. I feel like for Terran, there's really good tank spots to like set up, and I feel like it's also very open in the middle for Zerg players. And then for Protoss, they have chokes in some of the sides of the map to engage to the fourth base and just engagements. And I feel like overall that base is not that hard to take the third base into a fourth base. So I think a lot of people like that.
yeah, I would say like all these maps have shades of previous maps that we've had in Legacy of the Void. I think it'd be impossible not to at this point. But they're
Mhm.
still new enough where I'm not like, oh god, it's just another one of these maps. There's still some
Mhm.
unique aspects of them that make certain play styles better or worse. And Jagannatha is actually the only map so far with the speed zones or slow zones that I'm really interested in because of where they're
Mhm.
placed. It feels like they're actually going to be impactful. I saw a BattleMech game on Monday where they were using the Cyclones in that speed zone, and the Roaches, you just can't hit them. It's impossible.
Mhm.
So that fourth base ended up just going down because it was so strong right there.
Mhm. I
But
mean,
I was
even
wat-
I think like lurkers in there too. They just shoot out so
mm-hmm.
fast, and
Oh my
it's
god.
like it's crazy.
I was watching earlier, just a few hours ago, Audi TV EU League finals, and it was Sol versus a laser and best of 5, and I went to game 5, and this was the map, and it was a really good game as well. So a lot of back and forth, late game. It's the first time I've seen it in play.
Yeah. I think if it was a slow zone, I would hate the map a lot more.
Oh
But I think it
god.
makes it interesting like this.
Yeah, I think slow zones are really I don't know. I've been thinking about it a little bit, and like the speed zone makes the game faster, which faster is always more fun, even if it's harder. I feel like
Mhm.
it's just like, oh, the energy ramps up. Whereas the slow zone, I mean, it's the same thing, but opposite, right? Your energy kind of ramps down. You're like, oh, hold on. We got to wait now. Everything becomes a queen off creep.
Hmm. Exactly.
But yeah, I've been really liking the new maps. I am sad to see Eternal Empire go because that's given us some of the best games. But I was watching the GSL last night, the one from Wednesday,
Mhm.
and there was a game on Eternal Empire, and I was like, oh, this is weird now. Like, it's been a week without this map, and now it's weird. This shouldn't be here. Put it on Romanticide or something.
Yeah, I feel like especially for the Korean tournaments, most of them don't even look at the new maps until GSL is over.
Yeah,
They're all focused on that for now.
yeah, pretty much. Anybody who's out of GSL will be looking at them, but
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's gonna be a good season. This is probably one of the first seasons where I haven't heard anybody so far say I'm vetoing this map 100%.
Hmm.
So that's kind of fun. I haven't even heard the Terrans complain.
It's a first.
It's a first, man.
I feel like it's kind of funny though. I feel like with the older maps that are still in the pool, like those are typically what people veto now. Like I think submarine is people's veto,
Yeah,
and depending on preference, sometimes Aura. But yeah, it's becoming more common to veto the older maps.
yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, I really feel like I've seen the new maps pretty significantly more than the old maps. So it's kind of cool. I think it'll be fun.
Probably more so because you cover a lot of best of threes, but as you get later, best of fives, best of sevens, you'll see the full map full in effect.
Yeah,
Hmm.
true. All
But
right.
yeah, StarCraft's got some of the best map developers. Like a lot of it's just the community guys putting in the work here and entering contests like water runs for Blizzard.
Yeah. No, it
Very good.
absolutely is. I mean, it's such a community driven thing. Got Maris in here. I think she's got 2 maps, and Time and Superman and Negative Zero. All these people that constantly work really hard on the maps. Like, it is
Hmm.
not easy to put a map together, and it's really tough. I'm sure when you always have pro gamers like, "Oh, this map sucks," and you're like, well, I worked like 100 hours on that map, so you can suck it. How about that?
Hmm.
And they always put in such little creative details as well, like little
Mm-hmm.
doodads and nice little design. And it's not just the fundamental of the map. That's a lot that goes into it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Well, and then Jaganatha was helped by Twitch chat, so you know that's extra
Well, that's
bonus.
that's perfect balance. Then can't
That's
argue.
right. All the GMs really helping out with that.
Of course.
All right, so let's start talking about some of the events that have been going on, though.
Hmm.
Have you guys been watching the King of Battles?
Yep. Yep. I think that's had some really good results. And the thing I really like about that tournament, the guts for Alpha X, it's one of the biggest tournaments that we've ever held.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of interesting because it really, like with their casters, even like there's a lot of new casters that
Mm-hmm.
you typically don't see in the big events. That they do a lot more community events and they're casting this now. So I think it's really good exposure for them. And I think a lot of players, like there's some upsets that are happening too in the tournament, and it's making some good results so far for a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really glad that Kozan's got a bit of exposure from this too, because he's
Hmm.
a very reliable and energetic caster. And like he covers a bit of stuff for OSC, so I'm glad that he's sort of taking the lead. He's the main Alpha X caster, yeah. So
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
great for him.
And I think we got like Rushy in. He might be casting
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow. Like there's a lot of guys that you typically don't see in like the big EPT events, and but now they're getting their chance. So I think it's perfect for them.
Yeah.
Are
It's
you
one of the
involved in the?
benefits. Oh,
Hmm?
go ahead.
What
Were
was that?
you involved in the development at all, Starkiller, or was it like a
Uh,
got team input or?
Not really, to be honest. I was, some of the guys that were like setting up the cameras and stuff, they were asking me just to be a placeholder to make sure everything's set up properly. But with the actual event itself, not too much. I think Sushi handled most of that event and with all the sponsors and everything that was going on. But it turned out really well so far.
Yeah, great graphics as well. And I've tuned in. It's at a quite a good time for me here in Australia in the evenings,
Mhm.
um, early afternoons for Europe. So that's why you see a lot of the Koreans and Europeans, I guess. But yeah, good stream numbers, very good games, very good games. I also like the format where for the qualifying and elimination matches, it increases from the best of three to best of five in the groups. So I think that's
Mhm.
something I try and implement a lot in our events too, because it's puts a little bit more importance on those matches than just the first few games.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, honestly, well, the one thing I might change is even have all the best of five. I think that'd be kind of cool because they only do like one group a day, type of
Mm.
thing. So I think having best of fives for all of them could have worked as well. But I mean, honestly, how it is right now, I think it's really good too, though.
Yes, certainly for the prize pool, the players would have no issue with that. I'm sure. Like we've
Yeah.
seen in the past, BlizzCon, the biggest event, right, have just like best of three groups, and you're done.
Yeah.
You can, especially in Legacy of the Void, best of five is quite common.
And then like
Yeah.
best of three is just like anyone could one guy who's much worse than one person could actually beat someone that's a ton better than them, in my opinion. And so you start getting to best of five where you could cheese the guy two times in a row and he could just be done. That's simply how best of three could work. So.
Yeah, I do
And
get
this
the
is on
feeling that a best
the
of five is like a little more, it's a little harder to cheese yourself through, I feel
Mhm,
like.
mhm.
You have to be
this
really,
is on
really
the current map
secure.
pool, yeah.
Yeah, this is on a current map pool.
New
Yeah.
maps, yeah. So
Mhm.
in a best of
Yeah.
three, you might like some of these Koreans haven't practiced, as we said earlier, but a best of five, you have to play the full range of maps.
Definitely.
And the brackets out, top, good looking top eight.
Yeah.
I mean, that is
This is
sick.
this is a really nice bracket.
Yeah, man. It is unfortunately on in like the middle of the night for me, so I haven't gotten to
Mhm.
watch too much of it. I've seen a lot of highlights and clips though, and yeah, I mean, it's cool. I love seeing big tournaments like this that almost feel like they came out of nowhere and they just absolutely deliver.
Mhm. I mean, I'm just looking at
Who's
the
going
round
to
of
win it?
eight too. Yeah, who's gonna win it? I'm tempted to say it's gonna be Serral or Rogue, but uh, you know, I don't know if Zaun's gonna win, but he's been playing so well recently, like in GSL into this. Like in GSL, he actually beat Innovation in his group stage, and he's just been destroying some of the best like Korean players. So I'm actually very interested to see how he does versus Clem in the round of eight. But I would have to say if I had to pick a winner of this whole thing, I would probably say Cyril.
Here's the real question that
Mhm.
everybody wants to know. I see two people on opposite sides of the bracket. Are we going to get our 2018 finals? It's a best of 7. This would be almost the real thing. It's online, but pretty close.
Well, we had it in the groups, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's true. It's
Hmm.
true. Could we get the rematch in the finals, the real one? Do you think if they get to the finals, can we postpone it and fly them to the same place?
We should do that. I feel like even Innovation versus Mario is gonna be tough. Though I feel like if Mario can beat Innovation, then I could see Mario into the finals. But I think that's gonna be the one step he really has to beat with that.
Yeah. I think if Mario can beat Innovation, he can probably beat Clem. And
Hmm.
Clem's DVT is not his strongest. And I think if Mario can beat, like Trap, I'm pretty sure he can beat Zaun. I do love Zaun, but
Hmm.
I feel like I do kind of slightly favor Maru on that side of the bracket.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I think there's a chance, and Fear Dragon is out there somewhere doing his incantations to make sure it doesn't happen. But I think there's a chance.
I know. I really like to see Zaun in the round of four, though. I think he can do it. I think he's definitely one of the underdogs in this event, and he's been one of the underdogs for a little while now. But he's been making a name for himself in the last couple of months.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
topping his group is really impressive.
hmm
Yeah, he's definitely like an up and coming name that I think a lot of people are starting to really like and root for.
hmm
We see a lot of people talk about Clem's awesome TVZ, so we don't see as many Protoss that I'm aware. He plays Showtime a bit, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they match up.
hmm definitely. I feel like in Europe, there's I'm thinking first, like you got Showtime, like the ones that really stick out, who I'd say like in the top tier. I mean, Mana's pretty good. I just feel like with the Korean processes right now that I think I would favor them right now a little bit over the European ones. I think
Yeah.
their strategies are a little bit more clean, but I don't know. It should be really interesting though.
Yeah, that match, I'm not really sure how that match goes. That there's a lot of ways that can happen, but I'm excited for it. I think either way, whoever makes it out of Zaun versus Clem, it's going to be pretty hyped to have them in the semis.
hmm hmm
And that first best of 5 starts in 14 hours, so set your alarms.
There you go.
exactly. I was surprised to see Rainer go out too. I mean, I think Cure has made a really nice TVZ.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I feel like we're kind of just giving Cyril the win over Cure here, but
hmm
man, I think if there's anybody in this bracket that I'm a little scared for Cyril, it might just be Cure.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly think Cure and Rogue are the two people that can take Cyril out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Cure has to be like completely on his A game. And sometimes I feel like Cyril might even be in his head a little bit because I think Cyril did win the last couple times versus him. But yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool. I think it's gonna be close.
And that's the sign of a
Cure,
good bracket,
Cure is
right?
the
hmm
yeah, they're all good players. Pick a name out of the hat, they could win it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cure is our reigning OSC champion, and he also won the first mid-season playoffs, so still in very good form.
hmm
Yeah, that's gonna be good though. And 14 hours, you said, is the first best of 5. Damn,
Roughly, I think,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
I might
Pretty
actually be
early.
awake for that. Nice. All right. Well, we also have the Wardy TV European League. You were talking about that a little earlier.
Mhm.
So that's been going on a little lately. Looks like they're getting pretty close to the end.
Yeah, 3 players remaining.
Mhm.
And one of them we were just talking about, Clem, is in the upper finals versus European Protoss Showtime.
Mhm.
I guess we'll get to see
And
his
so
TVP pretty soon then.
I was gonna say too, a name we see coming up more and more now is Max Pax. I think
Oh,
he has really proved himself over the last few months to be
yeah.
like qualified to be one of the better European players now.
I think, yeah, there's a few of those guys like Goblin and
hmm
Christiana
Yeah,
all around the
that's
same
for
level
sure.
in results.
It's really interesting. I think we're seeing like a shift of new guys starting to push into the pro scene because now Max Pax, I've seen him beat some of the like he's I think in the was it the mid-season one he beat Solar it was like 2-0 in the upper bracket. Like he's been beating some really good
Masters
people.
Cup, yeah.
Masters Cup, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Mhm.
He recently beat
As did
Showtime a
Skillets,
couple of
another
times.
Protoss.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very good talent coming up. So
Yeah. Really, I've been really liking to Max Pax's play. Love seeing him come up in the scene like that. It is always fun seeing new players.
mhm.
And one of the things that this event offers is the top 3 players, which we're now at, are awarded OC Elite Rewards Club memberships. That's something we've brought into that some of the more major events in the circuit that you can win memberships that way.
Mhm.
So Sol and Clem are currently members, so they'll have their membership extended for free, and Showtime will be a first-time club member. So that'll
Yeah.
enable,
Well, there
like
you go.
we've talked about, the mid-season playoffs. We've got the end-of-season championship, King of the
Yeah.
Hill, all these tournaments. We just passed 15,000 US awarded to StarCraft members already, so that's pretty cool.
Wow,
Damn.
that's really good.
Yeah. That is awesome.
And Wardy's got another big announcement coming up this weekend, so watch out for that next event coming up soon.
Oh, damn.
That's awesome.
Wardy, man, he's everything, you know? He's all over the place right now, and love me some Wardy.
It's good to see reward for work put in.
Yeah, I mean, he's been putting in the work for years and years. Yeah, definitely good to see him reap the rewards of that, and StarCraft community helping him out. All right, next on the list here, I have all these tabs open, but I can't read any of them because they're all so small. Oh, this is my tournament. Yay. All right, Cock of the Walk. We just had the 31st one. It's a lot, man. Been going on for a while. Christianer has literally won 10 of them. It's actually insane.
He's beat some really good people in it too.
Yeah. Yeah. We have had a lot of good people play. MaxPax is often in the finals as well. And I've been doing the casting the IndyK Cup. I just did that earlier today, and Christianer has 11 victories there as well. He's just a grinder. He plays. I mean, yeah. There's a reason he's second in points in OSC.
Yeah, and remarkably, the wins too. It's not just the tournament participation and placements. It's a lot of wins from. I posted it in your Twitch chat earlier. I think it was like 130 between Cham, Max Pax, and Christiana.
Yeah,
huge.
That's just crazy. Insane. I don't know how any of them are against Terran right now, because the amount of Terrans that regularly play in these cups is actually quite small. So we need to see some more like mid-level European Terrans. That's what we need.
Somebody who's been flying under the radar a little bit this year is Cass from Ukraine.
Yeah.
He's won 16 tournaments, which puts him in the Hall of Fame. First time for him. He plays in a lot of the CIS tournaments, I think SCV Rush, some of the smaller European ones, and he takes them out. So
yeah, and he's been looking pretty good. I mean, I feel like I've seen some good games from him in the ESL Cups as well. So it's good to see him playing strongly.
And the last few weeks, the Cock of the Walk has been part of the Super Series, so that's pretty cool.
That's right. Yeah, got to be part of the Super Series. How many tournaments are in that? 6, right?
6 now, yes. We'll touch on that a bit later, but
yeah.
Basically it's a unique series leaderboard updated after each tournament, and after 1/3 of the year or one Super Series season, there's a qualifier, and the winner of that from the Cock of the Walk gets straight into the mid-season playoffs, which we talked about a little bit earlier, at Cure 1. And that's $1,500 and just a guaranteed cash. And the winner of that secures a nice seed in the end of season championship. So it's like tying all these things together throughout the year.
Yeah. And just by playing consistently in tournaments and playing well, you get the opportunity to be able to do that. It's a good reward for people who participate a lot and have that consistency.
Yeah, top six is listed on our website, SC2 Online on OSC Esports. So whenever people load up that every day, they'll see their names there. Another little incentive and reward for effort.
There you go. And we've also got, speaking of, actually, we're talking about up-and-coming players. You have the Alpha X Junior Championships.
Yeah, there's like, it's really cool because that's like a tournament that features people, I think 15 and under. So that's a lot of new talent coming in there. I think we got people like Exo Striker, Erog Fire in there, a bunch of others as well.
Yeah.
Just pretty much mainly the European scene, but it's really cool because I think those are the players that we'll start seeing in like 2 or 3 years from now that are going to start really performing.
Yeah, and we're already seeing like results from some of these guys. It is really cool getting to watch and knowing that like sometimes I try to think about what I was doing when I was 14 and it was not being this good at anything at all. So it is really cool to watch. And then every now and then I just have to remind myself, like I'll be watching young Yakov and I'm like, yeah, he's like what, 14 or 15, something like that, and it's really, really impressive. So I love that we get
Mm-hmm.
a chance to
Yeah,
see these
he's
guys.
getting pretty good already. Credit to Alpha X for running this for quite a few seasons now,
Yeah.
and starting to see that talent go to the next stage. And I was actually thinking about this because a bit of a flashback. If we go back to 2017, looking at the OSC Team Championship, then a Team Exceed, who have since departed StarCraft or maybe even shut down, but they had a lot of young talent, and I'll read you some of the names that they had on their team. They had Clem, they had Gerald, they had Christiana, they had Raina, they had Ryu. These guys in 3 years to where we are now, they're like really knocking on the door of the top pros, like all 5 of them within their region, especially Clem and Raina, but Gerald and Christiana are doing awesome things too. So yeah, give it time, and young Yakov and Exo Striker and all these guys, they could be the next Rainer in 3 years if they keep up and have that support. So it's really good that Alpha X have put on an event that can start their journey.
Yeah, it's a nice incentive too, just because I feel like, especially in the European scene, there's a lot of really amazing players that play. So it's a lot less, I guess, room for reward in Europe for certain events.
Yeah.
So this really allows them to shine in their own little tournament too.
Well, and it's really cool that they get the opportunity to do this because even if they make it far, say in an ESL Cup, they can't actually get paid. It's in the rules. You can't win the prize unless you're 16. So, and a Rogfire could make it to the top 4 sometime this year and be like, well, I guess my name's up there. That's about it.
Did that happen to Max Packs like a while ago? It might have.
It might have.
Probably
Yeah.
did. Maybe Goblin too. I could see
Yeah.
that happening.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
also Storm have been doing something, maybe a LAN or a small online thing with some junior players as well that hasn't got as much publicity. So it's good to see teams, investing into the grassroots.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's really cool just looking at this list. Everybody's got a team logo next to their name, and that I think just speaks to the state of what StarCraft is right now and where it's going. I think that's very cool. Oh yeah. All right. So next we got the mid-season playoffs. We were just talking about these.
Yeah.
Cure in the finals there, taking it down over Uthermal. Yeah, he really is looking strong, huh? I see a lot of Terrans in the top list here. What is this Terran top 3?
Yeah. Look at that.
Mm.
Even Uthermal taking out Clem, I think, is it's a very interesting thing to happen.
It's a very good low bracket run, like everyone he knocked off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Wow,
Huh?
that's crazy.
Well, I think Uthermal, I mean, he's always very good, but I think sometimes he can really turn it up to 11, I think he's one of those players that can just have kind of an X factor that's really tough to predict. And
I think it's very momentum focused too.
Yeah, that's true. After taking out Solar, I mean, I'm not super surprised he took out Clem if he's able to take out Solar. I do think Clem's TVT is probably his weakest matchup right now. Not that he's not strong in it, but compared to how crisp and clean his TVZ consistently looks, his
And
TVT is
even
not quite the same.
even the final set, Cure is really good in TVT, and Cure had a 1-0 advantage, so to bring it back 2 games, technically 3-2, that's
Yeah,
pretty good too.
god damn, that is really impressive for
He's
you, Thermal.
he's someone who puts a lot of thought into his builds, I think, and some of this was not all played live. Some of it was from replay, so we allow players, a few days to organize between themselves. Doesn't necessarily be played live until the latest stages, so that might suit his style more. And I think he sort of struggles a bit. I might be wrong with like some sort of wrist injuries for
Mm,
extended periods. So if he can focus in advance in a short period of time, that might have contributed to his success here. Plus, he's really good. So
Yeah.
yeah, that helps. He feels kind of like Euthermal always reminds me of like the TY of the European scene. He's got the big brains.
yeah, he's doing a lot of good stuff on YouTube as well as some others.
Yeah, I do feel like the YouTube at some point, kind of recently, a lot of players decided, hey, I could put guides up on YouTube and talk about the game, and people are actually really interested in that, and it's been really entertaining. Obviously, like Euthermal, Harstum, and other guys, but also really helpful to a lot of people.
Yeah, when I first started playing, we're talking 2010, 11, 12. I tried to look up a lot of stuff on YouTube, and that was very helpful because I was very like build focused as I was like going up the ranks, platinum, diamond, masters, and that was really helpful.
Yeah,
So it's a timeless thing, if you can watch someone and certainly have someone with a high level of understanding of the game explain that to you and show you a replay or a build step by step. It's extremely helpful. It's like basically a coach, yeah, but you're watching a video.
yeah,
Exactly. I was watching, I remember Loco on when I was around Platinum Gold League, I remember, and then that's when he was pretty. Actually, he was like mid GM during that time when he was doing all his tutorials and stuff. So that helped a lot, and then I think that also taught you to help analyze games like in the pro scene as well. So you're able to like look into their builds and be like, okay, you can kind of dissect them after watching his videos and seeing what he likes to do. So it definitely helps.
there you go.
Do you still do that? Not so much like YouTube guides, but like watching streamers or tournaments?
So yeah, I like to watch the tournaments. I think like GSL really gives like good. I like to, like, for example, I have a very different style than other people do. So what I like to do is I look at like how they like to play. I can't keep up with most of the stuff they do. They play extremely fast, like perfect. But I like to see how they look at the map and see how they like to position their units in certain places and see what type of compositions they like to go for on these maps. Um, Instead of looking at like the exact build order that they use, but to look at how they like to play it instead.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of information you can glean from watching uh, different players and different matchups, especially those. Yeah, like you're saying, the GSL. There's so much you can learn, and it doesn't have to be the build order. I think build orders are almost overrated. It's like, oh, look at how they were able to split their adepts this way. That clearly worked really well, and something like that. I think is a lot more helpful from a pro match.
We've also seen
Mhm.
some like eye tracker software and how that works during tournaments where players are putting their focus. It's quite interesting.
Mhm.
How often or how little they look at the mini map. It is interesting.
It's
I
like
feel
you can't
like,
even keep track. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
some players just focus on such different things throughout the game that it can almost be like a hindrance to look at the eye tracker. You're like, wow, they're never looking at X, Y, or Z, but it's just the way the style they play doesn't lean towards that. I don't know.
I think it's
I
definitely on
find
race
it,
too. Mhm.
yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Race and playstyle within the race. I think some playstyles almost lend themselves better to certain races, but you have like anomalies. Somebody who plays Terran like a Zerg player or Zerg like a Protoss player. Like I feel like Bly is more like a Protoss player just stuck in a Zerg player's body, and it makes things really interesting.
I think that's like me too.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that applies to a lot of different sports too. It's good. Everyone's got a style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of the mid-series championships, though, or the mid-season championships, the OSC Super Series, which we mentioned briefly earlier. We're currently in the middle of the season. When does this season end? What is it, December?
Probably end of November, start of December, yeah, because we'll have to play the playoffs before the championship, obviously. So so season 2 mid-season playoffs are starting up now. Probably be broadcast next week. We've got a bracket out for that, and you can see for season 3 that we introduced 2 new tournaments, rotating them in, which is the Team Exxon Opens, as well as we mentioned the Cock of the Walk / the Cristiano Open.
That's
and we subbed out the Masters Cup. So yeah, we can talk about that in a bit. But yeah, two tournaments in, and they'll each offer a pathway into mid-season playoffs number 3. So you'll also have one player representing the Cock of the Walk there from your regular event and your community, which is a pretty cool thing too.
Yeah. No, it's always
I think Cristiano should just get an invite.
It basically does, right? It's like but what tournament does he get an invite
the top
from? You know?
top players do.
He wins the Cock of the Walk, but the Indy K is also part of the Super Series. So Cristiano gets to decide which one he wants to represent.
Oh, that's good. If you can't qualify through one, you got a second chance, eh?
There you go.
Yeah, you can do both.
We've seen that before with Cham, like qualify on multiple top 4 leaderboards in season 1, and they're not all played the same day, so obviously you can try, and then if you don't make it, you can come to the next one.
Yeah, and then also it opens up for other players too. If he qualifies in one of them, then you have an open spot in another one too for someone else. So
yeah, so we subbed out the Masters Cup, and we're reverting back to a larger format, which is a group stage into playoffs, and that recently wrapped up the first edition last weekend, and we mentioned some of the results already with Max Pax and Skillis both defeating Solar, past 2-time OSC champions. So very, very good result. And this is a $600 starting prize pool, and just broadcast weekly for a few weeks. Mostly OSC Elite Rewards Club members invites, as well as a few public ones. So yeah, I think it's pretty well received and great games.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Solar got a little bit lucky versus me.
Did he?
No, he was really good. No. He played really well. So it was a fun one. No, I got farther than I thought I would. So I was happy with that.
Nice job beating Mojo, who took down Cham.
Yeah,
he's always been someone good. TVZ.
I thought in the group stage, I thought my group in particular was like probably the most even overall, because you had like Max Pax, Cham, me, Spats, and Patty Mac. I'd say we're all, some of them obviously are a little bit more standout, like Max Pax and Cham, but I felt like the rest of us were all pretty even. So it made it pretty interesting.
Yeah. Spats has been pretty up and coming too. He's been looking really good as kind of a growing Protoss lately.
He's pretty young too, right? I think he's like 19, 20. Something like that.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I think so. He also just won the Shershadai Open yesterday. So
he took me out round of 4.
Did he?
Yeah. He did pretty good. Yeah.
That was revenge for you getting out of Group D here.
Exactly. Revenge for him.
Yeah.
And Patty Mate does quite well in Battle of the Americas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He took a little bit of time off in the summer too, but he's been coming back and he's looking really good still. So yeah,
Part of the NA
and
scene,
he's younger
the
too.
elusive NA scene.
Mm-hmm. I feel like we're at a point now, like in the semi-pro scene in the North American and European, where it's like we have players that are like very like even now, and it's like one
Yeah.
week it's one person wins, the next week the other person wins. It's like I don't know. I think it's very even playing field overall, so it makes it for good games.
Yeah, I agree. I really like where the NA scene is right now. It gives me hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on our running sheet, but also there's a upcoming Cheese Adelphia online too. That's pretty big.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be neat. And that's like an open invitational too, so you could have people from Korea or I think Europe. Everyone's gonna be able to play in that. So
That's awesome.
mhm.
I don't think I've seen that. Do you know when that is? Maybe I'll look it up later.
Next Sunday is the first qualifier, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's like spread up. It's like a qualifier a month or something like that, and then they have like the main
Okay.
event at the end. I think it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. I'm sure it's right at the same time that everybody's trying to play in DreamHack as well. Because those
Yeah, this next
qualifiers
week's gonna
are,
be crazy.
yeah, this coming week.
Mm-hmm. That's gonna be interesting. That
Yeah.
always is like so you always see like new faces in there too, especially in the North American one, but in the
Hmm.
European one now too, because it's so much bigger, the qualifier. So you see a lot of people that you normally wouldn't see if it was not as many spots as it currently is. So
Exciting stuff. Again, there's just too much
mhm.
StarCraft.
Yeah.
But what do we got next here? What do I have on next on the list? Oh, this is the upcoming bracket for the playoffs, the
Yeah, which
mid-season
should be
playoffs #2.
starting next week.
I got a tough one. Parting. Oh
Oh
boy.
man, that is hey, just a couple of NA players up against each other. You know,
hmm
that's
Oh
a
boy. Yep.
that's a really
Watch out for the
difficult one.
cheese.
Oh my god, yeah,
Yep. He has to watch out for my cheese.
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's been playing a lot of OSC this year, actually, and we've had a couple of bounties claimed on him. I think Cham has taken one on him. So yeah,
Yeah, he's been playing very well. I mean, there's a lot of big names. You got Special in there, you got Solar in there, um, Creators
Yeah,
in there too. Yeah, there's a lot of good people.
a lot of tough players for sure. Although I'll be honest, that first game versus parting, that's gonna be tough.
hmm
You got some
There's a
strategies
loser
you're
bracket.
planning.
It's all good.
That's okay.
Um,
Good call.
you can do a U-thermal.
I'm just gonna go with the flow. Yeah, it's true. No, I'm just gonna go with the flow. I think that's a best of three, so it's a little bit
Hmm.
It might be a little bit possible. I've taken a game or two off partying in the past, so I don't feel much pressure going into that. So there's definitely some
Nothing,
good games in there
nothing to
too.
lose. Guaranteed cash for playing anyway. So
There you go.
That's for sure. hmm
And you've still won more
I'm
pizzas
always
than
curious
him.
how B does.
So
Exactly, There's always like upcoming players that like I always like to see Max Pex and Sham play because I think they're very even right now.
yeah,
I think B usually gets some good upsets here and there. So
B is a fun player to watch. Like no matter
mhm,
how the games go, he's a fun player to watch.
definitely. Me and him, I think we have a couple styles that overlap a little bit, but he has some really cool builds.
So that's coming up next week. You said, Eddie?
I'll try and organise the broadcast. I'll have a chat with the Wardy when he can fit it in because there's a lot of StarCraft, as we say.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah. Soon, TM.
that's
Follow
right.
OSC on Twitter for more updates, and Wardy. In fact, follow all of
Yep.
us on Twitter, and then you'll guaranteed not miss any of
Mhm.
the updates.
For sure. What else do we have?
What else do we have? Oh, I think the next one is the Hall of Fame.
Yes, King of the Hill. That's a good event. Did you cast that last week?
Yeah,
Last weekend
cast it last week. It went
during the
really
week.
well. Had some really good games. Bly was killing it. He's like, I feel like he always does that though. He always comes in, gets a nice streak going.
He's
But,
won a
Max
ridiculous
Pax,
amount of games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Max Pax came back though. He beat a lot of people too at the end, right?
Yeah, he did. And they were some good games, man. Just Max Pax versus Bly was kind of insane. His disruptors they're the grossest thing I've ever seen. I don't think that series was super disruptor focused, but I watched Max Pax versus Silky, the Chinese Silky recently. It was gross. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. His disruptor shots.
I think those styles are becoming more and more popular too.
Yeah.
Bly has won 85 maps out of 118, being king 5 times. The next best is Max Pax with 46 wins.
That is an insane amount of games.
But everybody's got a good few maps at least. And we're nearly $5,000 awarded in King of the Hill alone, so it adds up. But it's good fun. It's a good fun tournament.
I see a starkiller crowned king in there.
Yes.
As many times as Solar, so you know.
Let's make your own judgments on that.
You know, it's possible. It says anyone could do it.
Well, not just anyone. You have to be a member of the OSC Elite Rewards Club.
That's true.
Yeah, I think the King of the Hill is a really fun format. It allows for some really exciting games because it's just one. That's the only one. That's the game you get. So
Indeed.
and speaking of some records, you were saying it earlier that Zyomech and Naz is Nasty were both crossed 200 games this season.
Yes, remarkable statistic. They the third and fourth person in history to ever do it. OSC has been going 8 years now, so huge numbers.
That's an insane amount of tournaments to play in. I mean, at this point, how many days have there been in the year? That's like almost one a day. That might even be one a day.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
They're both overtaken Marsman, so they're in second and third place of all time, respectively. But what's also pleasing is the guys below it. There's a lot of guys who might. We've still got 2.5 months left this year and this season, so we might see potentially another 3 or 4 guys get there, which is insane. Huge numbers this year.
Yeah. Well, and that's just because of how many different OSC tournaments there are. I feel like there's so many going on all the time.
Yes, it should be another record-breaking year. I think we'll pass 650 StarCraft tournaments.
Damn. Yeah. Quite a few.
That's crazy.
And
is the top record still illusory?
50.
Yep.
Yeah, from the past, yeah.
Maybe someday somebody will overtake him.
I don't think that's possible. He has a ton of tournaments. I don't know. It's tough. He basically he played. What was it? He had how many wins does he have? Not wins. How many turns did he have that one year?
300.
Yeah.
300.
300.
That's a lot.
And there was probably less games, less tournaments.
Yeah. Played in almost all the tournaments at that time.
Yeah, 3 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. If he did it now, oh boy, he'd have 400 or 500.
Just play in every single possible tournament. Who needs to sleep?
Yeah, I remember I used to set alarms to get up and play in tournaments, and dedication.
If you got to go too a little bit, but now, yeah. It was tough. Some of those 6 a.m. ones that I tried to get up for were that was tough.
Yeah, it's hard to play StarCraft when you're trying to wake up for it like that, isn't it?
Hmm. Just half awake.
And Chem has over 50 victories, 50 tournaments, 57 tournaments won.
Crazy. First person in history to pass 50. Cristiano will soon be joining him, I think.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't
But
doubt
also
it.
some other players with great years: Max Pax, Bly, Vanya, Cass. I think
Hmm.
few others will join off the top of my head, like Nina, maybe B, Gerald. I think there's a good amount on 12, 13, 14 tournaments.
That's I think it just shows consistency, right? Like it's one thing to play in a lot of tournaments, it's another thing to win a lot of tournaments. Like Big Gabe over in the ESL EU Cup. Every week, man.
Hmm.
It's just crazy
He's always top
consistency.
2.
Yeah, he
Final
really
boss.
is. It's always there. And like the same, it's only like 3 people that have ever beaten him in that cup. Just like the same 3 or 4 people.
Probably just mostly Clem, right? It feels like.
Yeah, I think he and Showtime have traded a lot. Yeah, he and Clem.
Hmm.
Oh, Raynor. Whenever Raynor plays, it's like, up, rip here, Marine.
Hmm. I don't think Cyril ever really plays in those. Maybe he played in one of them.
He played in
No.
one not this past Monday, but the one before. He played in that one.
Hmm.
And I think that's the only week league one he's ever played in. I mean, if you could go out golfing, might as well, right?
Yeah. He has his priorities set for him.
That's right. Yeah, but these stats are insane, man. Some really, really high level players, really consistent players playing in the OSC Cups.
Definitely. And it might be a good transition to have a look at the world rankings.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's take a look. Cham, of course, up there. 57 tournaments won, 152 played. Starkiller chilling at rank 6, man. That's that
Yeah,
top
I'm
10
doing
line.
pretty good. I'm trying to
Very
hold that
good year.
top 8 right now. That's the goal.
Got some tough competition.
Yes, for those
Yeah.
unfamiliar with how the rankings work, towards the end of season championship, the higher players are seeded deeper into the tournament. So obviously, if you're in the top few of the rankings, you're going to have a decent position and payday towards the end. So it all adds up if you can hold a good rank.
Especially with all these like mid-season tournaments coming up too, we're gonna see a lot of like movement. I feel like in the rankings too. Those are a lot of OSC points. So
Yeah.
Well, the mid-season playoffs don't award OSC points. Actually, we made that decision.
oh really?
But yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
but it does award obviously the cash. It's more part of the championship that offers a high seed at the end. So that's the reward for it, and splitting out the money more
Mhm.
evenly again 3 times,
Mhm.
because the OSC championship doesn't award OSC points either. Yeah, so we
Yeah,
count the
yeah,
playoffs
yeah.
as part of the championship.
Right.
I think the playoffs early is really cool. Though once they get to that point, it's like you see some like interesting upsets. I feel like in the main bracket always each year.
Yeah, I think that's the benefit of having a tournament like this, where it feels like I don't know, maybe you get matchups you don't get to see in a lot of other places. Maybe you get it in
Hmm.
like a I am Katowice, but for the most part, you will get matchups that you don't see. So you do open the door for some upsets and some really, really interesting series.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because we have these regular events from all regions. They all combine to form the rankings, so you can have people coming from everywhere. And as Mio Micah, the Mario Slayer in the chat, he points out that that some tournaments offer less points, but that's reflective of the prize pool and a few other conditions. So, if you win like 10 of a smaller cup, it might only equal, one Masters Cup or one
Right.
European League or something like that. But that's how the points work.
Mhm.
Well, it makes
I
sense
just remember
too.
last year too. I remember for like the low one last year, everyone was like very scared in the upper bracket because we knew when we fell to the upper bracket for the lower bracket in the final bracket stage, like you had some really good European pros and Korean pros that were like sitting in the lower bracket from the group stage. So like no one wanted to fall like right away from the upper bracket. Um, that's always kind of scary too.
Yeah, it's a brutal knockout bracket, as it should
Mhm.
be. It's the yearly championship of
Yes.
650 tournaments.
Hmm.
Which we actually have a new graphic, which Chickenman has been the only one to show off so far. We haven't put it out. I don't know if you want to pull it up, but
Oh,
since
yeah.
we've now entered the last quarter of the year, heading towards the championship, we got a nice little graphic made up.
Let's see if I have that somewhere. That's the next question. Can I find where I have that?
I can post it in our chat here if you want.
Yeah, maybe that would be the easiest way. I'll just mess up the cameras here for a momentarily. All right. Easy peasy.
Hmm.
There we go. Yeah, nice
Yeah,
little
we're back.
graphic. Got all the previous winners on there, including Cure and Solar, some people who we've been talking a lot about today. But that is a hell of a list of people.
All deserving world champions from a yearly event. 8 years now, so.
Yeah.
And
I still gotta get a
2016.
picture with
Nice
this
trophy.
one.
Ooh, look at that.
That was from the team championship one. I gotta take a picture with that one still, but that was a really good event for Alpha X.
That's
Definitely.
awesome.
Reigning champions was 2018.
Yeah,
It's a really good, really nice crystal trophy. I'm really happy with them. So we give them out for our StarCraft championships, and now we do Hearthstone, and we're going to do a small poker circuit in Australia too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just admiring that trophy the other day. Yeah, it's a really nice trophy. It's a good one to adorn your shelf with.
Definitely.
And that takes us basically to the end here. You're just mentioning the Hearthstone rankings as well. I'm not super familiar with Hearthstone. I don't know about you, Starkiller.
Not much.
I'm not a player either. So we've got some good people running it for us. Fortunately, Toxavia is the director of Hearthstone, and we've recently added a new admin to help him out, experienced admin Ronnie. And we've had 79 Hearthstone tournaments so far this year, with a good mix of winners, 45 unique winners, which is pleasing to see. Because in season 1, when we started, it was basically a 2-horse race for a lot of it. 2 players had a lot of wins between them.
But it looks a lot more spread out now.
Yeah.
It's a diverse group too. You got a lot of all different parts of the world, so that's really good to see.
Yeah, predominantly North and Latin America and Asia, like the Philippines. We don't really operate in the European zone, and probably because they're server based, you have to buy cards on different servers, so it probably doesn't carry over if you come to NA. That's a factor, I believe.
That's interesting.
And we probably about 6 weeks ago moved from Challenge to Battlefy, and that has a lot of good features for Hearthstone players, organizing vetoes and decks and all this sort of stuff. And we've seen huge sign up and check in numbers increase as a result of that. We're getting 128 player brackets, whereas previously on challenge we were getting 40, 45. So yeah, big couple of months since the change already.
That's really good. That's really good. It's really interesting. I guess just something that's really good for Hearthstone on what is it, Battlefy?
Yep.
Cool. Good to see. A lot more signups, and that's probably part of the reason the winners are a little bit more split, right? You get more people in there, you get more variety.
Sure, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've got, as I said, good people running it for us and looking to see continued growth. Maybe one day it'll get up to the StarCraft level, 650 tournaments. Who knows? But
There you go.
yeah, it's going quite well.
There you go. That's
And
the last.
like I said, I'm not a player, but I start to recognize a few names and a few results. And we do have Hearthstone OSC Elite members as well. We run some exclusive tournaments for them, so it's good to always I recognize those guys in results and cheer them on. So
there you go. Got to cheer on the members.
for sure.
Well, I think that was our last topic of discussion. Do we have more things to bring up as we get to the end here?
Any community Twitch chat questions, or I'll just have a quick look on Discord.
I have Twitch chat, but it's on my phone. I try not to read it too much
as we go. When is the OSC Team Championship coming back from reigning champion Alpha X Sushi? It's not in the plans for now. Yeah, it's not something that really fits in with our 1v1 sort of circuit. Might bring it back, for now it's not in the plans. We're refocused on StarCraft 2 main league and Hearthstone and poker. So I guess you'll have to be happy being the reigning champions for a while longer.
Get to keep the title.
That's right.
Keep the title, and Starkiller's already got the trophy, so the spot is secured on the Hall of Fame.
Somebody's got to be the reigning champion, so it makes sense. Alpha X just keeps holding on to it.
Yeah, well, never say never. It might come back.
Sushi
But it's not in the immediate plans.
Sushi wanted to see the trophy one more time, so
there you go. Say Alpha X on the bottom.
Yeah, we got Alpha X 2018 OSC champions.
They're all custom engraved, all the champions.
Ah, that's beautiful.
It's a really nice trophy. That was a really good event too back then. I remember I forgot the team we were against, but very sad. I remember they on their list they had like Soul, they had I think Showtime. And I remember
Makers?
Australia in that tournament had like
Makers,
a really good run. What was that?
Makers. Team Makers, yeah.
Makers, yeah. Team Makers, yeah.
Yeah.
Extremely good roster.
And I like the format too. Something we put a lot of thought into. It's not just, you can't rely on your ace. You got to play multiple people.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important for a team format. Got to have a deep roster.
And that's what we're encouraging, as well as participation in tournaments throughout the year. That's how we determine seeding for the playoffs.
I think that's really cool with OSC too, because even if you're not like one of the best players, as long as you play in a bunch of tournaments, I feel like you can place pretty far in like for the final bracket. So
yeah, you get out what you put in. Like we talked to me, I asked before about certain tournaments awarding certain amount of points. If you only want to play in the big ones, you might only get those points, whereas if you're playing 200 tournaments, you probably get more.
It's
Mhm.
true.
It's just the way it works.
Mhm.
You get out what you put in.
Well, I think that leads to what you were saying earlier, Starkiller, with upsets, right? Gives you a much better
Yeah.
chance of getting those matches that you maybe wouldn't normally see once we get to playoffs and things like that.
Yeah, we didn't
Mhm.
mention
Mhm.
OSC bounties actually. That's another feature
Oh,
of upsets. If
yes,
you beat someone
yes.
in a best of 3 series in any
Mm.
partnered tournament, if you haven't beaten them multiple times before, you pick up a bounty on them, and that can range from someone past champion like Solar or Cure down to one of these up and comers like a Gerald or a Christiana or Vanya. Or there's a big list of about 28 people, so you're a fair chance you might beat them in a tournament. You can claim a bounty even if you don't win the tournament. So there's always something to play for.
Yeah, it's good to see how you can do as well. I mean, these are some of the top guys in the world, so it's cool that you can play them in more of a like a community style event as well, and you
Yeah.
don't have to play in some huge tournament to verse them.
I just updated the bounty list before this show, so there was a few recent bounty winners. Gillis, we mentioned, and Max Pax beating Solar in a Masters Cup. That's nice for $75 each.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Solia, Solia beat Cham and Nina. Nerazim beat fellow Russian Vanya. There's a player from Peru called Endurance beat Nina. That's a bit of an upset. That sort of flies under the
Yeah.
radar if we don't award bounties.
Yeah.
Yeah. And over the years, I think we're nearly at $18,000 in bounties awarded. So they do happen
Wow.
fairly frequently.
Damn. Just frequently enough.
Mhm.
Yes, not daily.
Yeah. If they happen too
Mhm.
much, then it's not as much of an upset, is it?
Well, when I did this last update just before, I mentioned there was 10 bounties, so that's in like the last 3 weeks. So you might be looking at 15 a month.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Plus, you get even if you don't get the bounty, you get bonus points if you've beaten that person multiple times before. If they're higher in the rankings than you still get bonus points for doing that.
Oh, that's cool.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's cool though. It's like some people are like they're versus one of these like intimidating, really good pros. They're like, okay, I feel like I have nothing to lose, but now it's like I have more to gain with it too. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
A little bit more incentive, right? To, I don't know, maybe try a cheeky strategy, something like that. If you were going to play standard and, maybe give a little bit more juice.
Mm.
And all info on bounties and recent tournaments and upcoming tournaments and all these player leaderboards and rankings can be found on our website, SC2 Online and OSCesports.com.
Yeah, a lot of really good information there, and good way to keep up to date on tournaments and things like that. Hearthstone or StarCraft.
Mm-hmm.
We've got today and tomorrow, starting in like 10-15 minutes, is the SCA EPT qualifiers. So that'll be,
right.
I think, the first region to commence, and then
Yeah.
all next week it's everybody else. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they got to make sure to get the strongest region first, before they start up with the weaker region. So they kind of go in order.
I thought it was because we're ahead in time of everybody. You got to start a few days early.
It's actually scheduled on the same day at the same time. You guys are just so much further ahead that.
Well, that is true. It's Saturday morning for me. So you guys are still on Friday, yeah?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
How is it in
I like the
future?
Oceania one a lot too. Yeah. I just want to say too, I like the Oceania one a lot too. I feel like a lot of the competition is very even there too, and no, I think that's actually like really fun to watch. Some of the North American ones and the Europe ones, I think a lot of one-sided matches happen, but in the Oceania one. It's a lot of them are even.
Yeah, I think Probe and Seether are the favorites heading into it, but then you got like a good group of 12 guys who could beat those two, but also really compete for third, fourth, fifth, and it's a deep payout now in EPT, which is good. So yeah, a good mix of even talent across the board. Like I could easily see like someone like Azur or Mia Micah or Pez or Blisk or Ender. Pick any name out of a hat. I could see them coming. Top two, even winning.
Yeah, I think Mio Micah might actually have like 100% win rate versus Protoss and Zerg. I think he's only lost to Terran in the last couple of them. I think he's only lost to Seether actually.
Literally just Seether.
And I think Mio's been practicing hard. He showed off on Twitter #1 NA. So
that's
putting
true.
in a lot of game.
No, he's been prepping a lot, so I think he's going to do really well. I always think with him he's going to get top 3 in this event.
You could say that about a lot of guys. Like we didn't mention Demi. He's someone who's always thereabouts, and we forgot to mention that he's actually started up his own bi-weekly tournament, which is
true.
Very impressive thing for C players every second Sunday. However, this week's will be moved to Tuesday as a full weekend of EPT. So so really impressed by anyone who puts in their own money to run StarCraft tournaments, and at least he's a player who can try and win it back. But
right, put on your tournament and then go win a few other tournaments to pay it off, right? That's the real strat.
And it was a good tournament. #1, it was a good turnout and a good event.
I know for that tournament, I'm sleeping at that point. I think that's like a 4 a.m. or 6 a.m. tournament for us in the US.
Yeah. Well,
so you'll have to catch the VODs.
The Southeast Asia one. So if you're ever on the full DGen schedule, then I mean, you're in college, right? It's the perfect time to sleep at all the wrong hours. Who needs to study
it's
or
prime
do well?
time.
Yep.
And how are you feeling heading into NA EPT, Starkiller?
I'm overall feeling okay. I mean, I really want to try to qualify. Like, I think it's gonna be really tough before Saturday to qualify because there's just so many really good people. The thing that makes it kind of interesting though is because the EPT seedings, sometimes parts of the bracket seem easier than some other parts of the bracket. So it kind of, I don't want to say it's completely on bracket luck, but I feel like by Saturday, a little bit of bracket luck of where you end up. But I really am shooting to qualify. I mean, if I don't, then maybe I can get like top 12 in that last day, or something like that. But it's really tough though, because I remember like last time, I lost to M Canning in the second qualifying match, and he had a really good day. He got super far in that event. I remember he took out like Cuddle Bear, Vindicta. He took out Scarlet even. He was having a massive run in that tournament. So
can't sleep on M Canning.
Yeah, he's improved a ton in the last few months. So
yeah. I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Definitely.
You're probably going to cast it? Is it open to cast?
I have been approved to cast. I'm planning on casting some of them. As many as I can.
There's just so many games going on.
Yeah. Gonna be a big week.
They usually go pretty late too.
Yep. It's pretty constant. Those ones, is there a lower bracket for these ones?
I don't think so. I remember when they had the lower bracket though, like they haven't had it last season, but when they had the lower bracket, it went to like 2 a.m. in the morning. It was ridiculous.
It keeps going. And then like if you get pretty far in the upper bracket and fall, you just wait for literally sometimes 5 hours. You can just be waiting for a game.
I think some players literally took naps like in between. They literally took like a 3-hour nap and then went right back into it because it just went so late. I think one of the games was like 3 a.m. in the morning, and they're just like, they were like right at the qualifying match in the upper bracket, and then they fell all the way down, and they're like, oh,
God.
gotta wait now. So
Yeah.
Come back tomorrow.
yep.
I think these are also at least one or two of them played during the week as well, which would make that harder to do double elim.
Yeah.
If I'm
Yeah,
not mistaken.
I think it's Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I believe. So it's
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit tough on the people that work that play in those. But the Saturday one is like the one that I'd say is most important to play because that's awards the extra money as well. So that's what I think everyone really wants to go out for.
If I was to be critical of the SCA ones, it's that they start at 11 a.m. my time, Melbourne, which is reasonable. But if you take into account the other Southeast Asian countries like Vietnam or Philippines, etc., that can be like 8 a.m. start, so it's quite early.
Yeah, that's a little rough.
That's tough.
I think for
That's tough.
NA it's like 6 p.m. start on East Coast, which is
it's like 6 around.
Yeah, because I think it's a 3 p.m.
I like
start
that
for me.
personally.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. It is a little rough if you work and you're not able to make the start. I do think Saturday's probably going to be the most crowded one for that reason.
Yeah, it's usually kind of crazy. The first day and the third day are usually the two crazy days. First day is kind of like a lot of like pro players that didn't automatically qualify or trying to get in that day, and then the Saturday is just like the Last of Us trying to fight for it. So
fight for those last couple of spots.
And
also people that that work. Yeah.
Rushi in the Twitch chat mentioned the Shushrai Open. Unfortunately, that's going to miss a week. It would have lined up beautifully for Shushrai's birthday. He's going to run a bigger version of the cup, but unfortunately, EPT qualifiers, that's been bumped back a week. But that's going to be a really good event when it comes back, and that's part of the Super Series that we touched on earlier in the show with ongoing leaderboards and then mid-season playoffs. So it's a really good NA event too.
Definitely. Those are always fun too. You see a lot of I feel like similar names winning too. I don't know. Whenever I play in like Cheerstad, I usually play in that one in particular. You always see like Sai, you see Nina. You see them winning a lot. Sometimes you see Cham winning it too. It's I don't know. You see very similar faces each time. So
well, those people are in the top of the OSC list, right? Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we got to get Starkiller a win. You're third on the Shershadai leaderboard, and that's good consistency.
Yeah, I think I got in last time I was in the top 4 as well. It's very competitive. I feel like it's when you qualify for that one in particular. I feel like I'd be against a very tough 3 players in that upcoming Super Series. But yeah, it's cool. I like the event a lot when it comes to that. So.
Yeah, and I think it's been really successful having these unique leaderboards. It's like a mini rankings of a series each week. So we'll probably keep that or expand it next year.
I agree with that. I think it would actually be even cooler. Like what I would just a suggestion. What I would say would be really neat would be to have like top 8 and have like 2 people qualify, because I think with top 1 sometimes it's really tough. We have one extremely good player and like I think the other was more consistent. Like 3 even players and one like really standout player. It's very tough to qualify for that. But I think having 2 qualification spots for that would be really cool too.
Yeah,
the system really is cool. Yeah,
we could explore even like a top 4 upper, bottom 4 lower sort of deal. But the main thing is we'd have to expand the main mid-season playoffs, right?
Yeah, that'd be tough.
16 player. So if you double it to 32, and ideally we still want to pay everyone who makes it. So it's figuring the budget.
That's the tough part.
But yeah, all suggestions always welcome. Obviously, Starkiller here is one of the NA reps, so if you got any thoughts, ideas, shoot him to him or the rest of the team. Public Discord, Twitter. There's always someone who will take them.
All the questions and complaints, though, those can go to Starkiller.
Yes,
he'll take those.
I just redirect my email. No, we I think the general community respond very well to all that we do. So fortunately, not many complaints.
Definitely.
It's hard to complain when you're putting on so many StarCraft tournaments and keeping the scene going.
Yeah, I don't think people are typing in you should run more tournaments.
Oh, there's already so much StarCraft. I don't even know when you'd fit in more tournaments. It's such a struggle right now, actually. I mean, you're just talking about scheduling stuff. This coming week is just going to be insane. Everybody trying to reschedule. And yeah, there's already so much.
Yeah, OSC basically has a tournament every day. So yeah, it's good. Really good.
Yeah, we try and always not have partner tournaments run on top of each other, so try and spread it out and work out a good schedule for all the players, and that works for everyone.
I don't think it's too much, though. I see Sushi asking if it's too much StarCraft. I don't think so, personally. I like just having stuff to watch, and there's always a VOD, you know, if I'm like kind of chilling and I'm like, you know, I could put some StarCraft on. Even if it's not live, there's always a VOD I haven't watched. Always. So there's just, it's never a dull moment.
It's good you can watch as much or as little as you want to.
And I think it really helps
playing.
Like the next level of professional players that aren't the top tier to have all of these events going on, because if it is that spread out, the top players can't play in every single thing, you know? Because imagine if there was not a lot and Cyril did play in every single weekly. Like, nobody else would win it.
That'd be ridiculous.
Ever. It would just be him. But there's so much going on that, like, it's not even feasible for the top 10 Europeans to play in every European Cup between them all. You know, I think it leaves a lot more open for the next level of player, which is a much larger group.
I think you see a lot of the people that get really good, like they start like the OSC type of events too. Like see, like, you know, Max Pex has been around for a long time. He's getting to that point where he's, you know, hitting into the pro scene now, and he's beating a lot of pro players. You see that more and more, I think, from the OSC scene. It's really cool. You see like the progression.
I mean, and Mio Micah played in a ton of OSC, and then suddenly he beats Maru, and now he's top of the NA ladder. I mean,
yeah. It shows it all starts with OSC.
That's right. I think it really does help grow.
There's a tournament for everyone.
There you go. That's the new slogan right there. It's a tournament for everyone. All right, well, we've hit our 1.5 hour mark. We've been going for. I think it's been a good show. I think we've covered just about everything.
Yeah, it's been good.
Definitely.
So good luck qualifying, Starkiller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll be keeping an eye out for you next week. Try to get
fingers crossed for a good bracket. Yeah, no, for sure. It should be fun. I have a lot of good preparation, I think, a little bit for it. I've been preparing a few builds, but for some of the players, I think it's just going to be very difficult.
Yeah, it always is. But I hope you get a nice bracket run, you know? Hit those players that you can just take right out.
I know. Just don't give me any turns. Just give me everything else. I'll be good.
Easy peasy. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Been a pleasure. And I'm sure we'll do this again.
Bye, Steph.
See you guys.
Out there.
I'll see you later.